Moving on, Hugh, to another area that I'm really interested to hear your views on, are entertainment in Portrush. I mean, what about the recreation grounds? What about cinemas? And I mean, because holiday makers came to Portrush with the train, as you were talking about, and then various other means of transport. What about entertainment? Tell me about entertainment.
It was important, obviously, as a watering place, as a seaside resort. You go right back to the 1850s, and you had the beginnings of entertainment for the people coming in, for the tourist. They had to be entertained. It's strange looking at Portrush today, and looking at the lack of entertainment that's actually provided for people. Back then, it was essential, really, that the local authority provided something.
What form did it take?
Well, the days of when the Scotch boat was coming in, the boats, there were at least 2 vessels, maybe 3 vessels during the summer, would be coming into Portrush, bringing people from Scotland over to Portrush, and vice versa, taking people across to Scotland. And the entertainment would be, and it would be frowned upon today, was a Pierrot show, for example.
I don't know about that. Can you tell me about that?
The Pierrot show was men blacked up as black men, coloured men, singing so-called Pierrot songs.
Right. Okay.
A lot of good music, very, very fine music, but certainly one would frown upon it today. It existed, in fact, in television up until recent years, when you had the minstrel shows actually on television.
Right. Was the recreation grounds a good thing for the town?
The recreation grounds were probably the best scheme that was ever done.
Has it changed a lot?
It obviously, well, we look at it today, of course, the recreation grounds as we knew it has gone. At the time, it was quite an innovation. Tennis courts, bowling greens, putting green, running track, a pavilion. It was a very innovative scheme, and it certainly made Portrush, and it provided the venue for a lot of the type of entertainment that was coming in, the band parades, the music, and of course the fireworks displays, which were famous for a long time. First fireworks displays in 1928.
Gosh.
They were run as an experiment to see how it would work. Some people weren't very happy with them, but they caught on, and I remember them as a child. The fireworks displays were very big nights in Portrush, thousands, up to 15,000, 16,000 people.
Gosh, what a number!
What
about cinemas and dance halls like the Arcadia and things like that? When did that sort of take off? Cinemas and dance halls and things.
The first film show, you can go right back to the start of the 20th century. Film shows were shown in the town hall, which was everything happened in the town hall, and the first film shows were screened there. The cinemas as such, the two that most people remember were the Picture House, which stood in Main Street opposite what is now Heron's Chemist.
Okay.
And it was 1920s. I don't know the exact date, but probably early 1920s. A lovely ornate building built by Hugh McAllister, the contractor, and the Majestic cinema, 1938. It was a more modern cinema, and it exists today, of course, only partially as a cinema. Those were the only two cinemas in the town.
And the dance halls, Hugh? Were there big dance hall, the Arcadia? What was...
Yeah, the Arcadia, well, again, it began in the 1920s, early 20s, with a small cafe with a roof type garden, and dances were held there. I suppose we call them tea dances
I see.
in those days. And there would be dances held there, but the idea of dancing obviously caught on in the 1930s. The Arcadia that we remember, or most of us remember, began in 1952, created by a gentleman called Blondell.
Right.
Bert Blondell.
Was he a local man?
No, he was. He came from I think he came from Blackpool. He was from Lancashire, and he came to Portrush and he set up a dance hall which not everybody was very approving of.
Oh, I see. Right.
It was extremely well run though, and it caught on, and indeed. You could say almost that the Arcadia helped to found the name of Portrush as a seaside resort. It existed up until the 1970s, gradually faded as dancing of that type gradually faded. But
Just to finish on the entertainment thing, Hugh, you told me years ago about Captain Shutt and the entertainment of fireworks display, and you told me he had a saying. Can you remember a saying at the end of the display?
say your good nights in hell. That's right. When the fireworks were finishing, and there was always a mass of people heading for the stations because they ran late trains, etc. But they always finished up with the words, say your good nights in the hill and don't clutter up the station. And in his Lancashire accent.
Very good.
He was a lovely man.
Good. Well, I think we'll leave entertainment there, Hugh, for now. Okay.